You've heard of DeAndre Ayton and Marvin Bagley, but when the NBA draft tips this Thursday, you'll want to know whether the hype on Luka Doncic is real and why Mikal Bridges and Zaire Smith might be the draft's two biggest sleepers. A look at the top prospects. DeAndre Ayton, though the 7-footer is the draft's safest selection, that by no means diminishes his skill set or tantalizing potential. There were few players as dominant as Ayton in college basketball this past season. He dropped 1.16 points per play, which ranked second nationally among all players to use at least 600 plays, and is nearly automatic around the rim. Ayton is a tweak on the traditional big man, capable of scoring in the post or when rim running, and what's truly interesting is that he is still very much evolving. He spent much of his freshman season at Arizona learning how to defend in space, and he is developing a three-point shot that offers a glimpse of pick-and-pop potential. DeAndre Ayton sits on the stage before the NBA basketball draft lottery in Chicago on May 15th. Ayton is the front-runner to be taken no. 1 overall by the Phoenix Suns, Charles Rexar-Bogost, the Associated Press. Luka Doncic. Much of the concern surrounding Doncic, the 19-year-old Slovenian guard, is largely unwarranted. Sure, he may not have the explosive athleticism some covet in lottery selections, but the 6'6" Doncic dropped 21 points per 36 minutes while playing for Real Madrid this past season, an unreal display of efficiency against heralded international competition. Combined with his passing legerdemain and an advanced skill set both in transition and spacing the half-court, it's foolhardy to fret about Doncic's supposed ceiling. Read more. A look at the most intriguing storylines heading into the NBA draft article continued below. Charlotte Hornets trade Dwight Howard to Brooklyn Nets. Summer of LeBron is about to heat up. Marvin Bagley 3. The freshman showcased a game full of offensive flourishes during his lone season at Duke, attempting a shot on more than a quarter of the Blue Devils' possessions while posting an offensive rating of 1.24 PPP and connecting on more than 64% of his two-point field goals. Much of Bagley's offense consists of attempts of around 15 feet from the bucket, and the 6'11" big man utilizes his quickness, agility and ability to contour his body to score almost at will. Trae Young. While Young isn't quite Stephen Curry 2.0, the 6'2" guard certainly has the requisite range to get his shot off, no matter how tightly he is defended. According to Synergy Sports, his three-point attempt efficiency rating, 1.11 PPP, ranked 5th among Division I players. He also has tremendous vision. Young notched an assist on nearly 50% of the Sooners' baskets in 2018. Jaren Jackson Jr. What makes the 6'11" freshman such an intriguing prospect isn't just his defensive intangibles, specifically the block rate of 14.3% or his defensive rebounding rate 20%. It's that Jackson, who is still just 18, represents unlimited potential. He's shown deft handles in spurts, and connected on 43% of his threes in Big Ten play. Mo Bamba. Similar to Jackson, Bamba, the 6'11" Texas Frosh, is a rim-running and shot-blocking savant, a block rate of 13.2%, capable of defending at least 3 positions. Following a regimen of pre-draft workouts with training guru Drew Hanlon, Bamba has refined elements of his game that were only rumored to exist during his one season in Austin, specifically, a perimeter touch. Michael Porter Jr. There isn't much to be gleaned from the 53 minutes Porter played for Missouri this past season, so to understand his promise, it's necessary to dissect what the 6'10" forward accomplished as a high schooler. He possesses guard-like handles, an ease to his perimeter attempts and an uncanny ability to drive the lane and convert while drawing contact. He was once considered the consensus top pick in the 2018 draft. Article continued. Mikal Bridges. Most regard Bridges as a prototypical 3-and-D prospect, and he certainly is tailor-made for the role. Bridges is a 6'7" wing who converted 40% of his threes during his 3 seasons at Villanova while also utilizing an absurd 7-foot wingspan to snuff out opponents' shot attempts. But Bridges might be ready to transform into more of a featured role. Miles Bridges, the 6'7" sophomore, gambled on his draft status when he returned to Michigan State for his sophomore season, but Bridges managed to showcase a multifaceted game built upon perimeter shooting, 36% from deep, and working within the structure of the Spartan offense. Without Tom Izzo on the sideline, Bridges should have a bit more freedom to expand on his offensive repertoire. Wendell Carter Jr., Duke had enough offensive talent in 2018 that coach Mike Krzyzewski didn't have to rely heavily on this freshman big to score, which allowed Carter to showcase his inherent skill set, one that hinges on anchoring a defensive front court. Carter hauled in nearly a quarter of Duke's opponents' misses while still managing to block roughly 8% of opponents' shot attempts. Arguably the most polished big in this draft. Collin Sexton. There are few players in the 2018 draft class as athletically explosive as Sexton. While his play always seems ready to careen into disarray, Sexton showcased an ability to somehow finish a play, either by himself at the rim or finding an open teammate. His percentages weren't pretty, so instead focus on the 6'3" guard's free throw rate per 40 minutes, 7.6, the most ever by a freshman guard. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Kentucky waited about 17 seconds before attempting a shot in 2018, which is one of the slowest average possession lengths for a John Calipari-coached squad. Much of that deliberateness was due to Gilgeous-Alexander, a Hamilton native. How the guard probes opposing defenses is his inherent talent, using his length and height, 6'6", to find a mismatch the moment a teammate springs free of his defender. Kevin Knox. While Knox's shooting percentages weren't robust during his 1 season at Kentucky, 51% on his 2-point field goals and 34% on threes, his value lies beyond how often he made a shot. Specifically, the 6'9" Knox converted nearly 2 3-point field goals per 40 minutes, and when he did get to the stripe, he made 77% of his free throws. Zaire Smith. The uber-athletic Smith had one role at Texas Tech in 2018, do it all. He grabbed nearly 10% of the team's misses, and led the team with a 4.8% block rate. Smith is still raw and lacks a consistent perimeter touch, but his potential is limitless and he is arguably this draft's sleeper selection. Robert Williams. There are few players as dogged on the offensive glass as Williams, a 6'10" sophomore who grabbed nearly 30% of Texas A. Offensively, that is Williams' best attribute, but coupled with an instinctual feel for rim running and the prospect of transforming into a shot-blocking savant, Williams could potentially sneak into the lottery.